Welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. So I thought I would go ahead. I've actually done a lot of past life spreads for a couple people the last few days, or last couple days, and I haven't done any on myself in a while. So I thought I would go ahead. I was very curious to see how the Art History Tarot for Past Lives, which is a deck geared toward past life work, and my um, Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle would pair. They both have their own specific system that this one is a spread I've done. I haven't looked at this cards. And then the other deck has its own specific system as well of how to get answers out of the deck. So I thought I would go ahead and kind of try to combine them and do their own specific systems and see how they compare to each other, which is really cool. And what's weird is I've pulled the cards from the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle, and of course I have to see them to know what's going on. And I wrote them all down here. And I haven't looked at these yet. I did meditation and everything and pulled the cards for here for this spread. But I'm anxious to see what's going on with it because a lot of the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle answers came up in a past life reading I've done on here. So I thought that was interesting. Like a lot of it coincided with that life that past life I had lived. So I was just anxious, and I got a couple other decks here I might pull cards from as well, just to see if there's any other stuff going on. But I don't think anybody's actually compared this deck and its specific spread with its uniqueness to that Oracle deck. With its own specific uniqueness. So I thought I would give it a try. So here we go. So for the Uncover, since I already pulled these cards and I see them here, sitting here, I'm going to read you guys what this deck says. So how I read this deck is I go in and I pull a card. I draw a card that says, drop a card for that answers me. And so I'll pull a card. This is a sample card. So I'll pull a card like here and I'll look at the card and I'll see children. And wherever the card actually falls, say it fell on lost. I can't read. It'll be children and lost. And then I go into the back because it gives you, right there in front of me. Time frame, lesson, death, location, trauma, faith, love, identity, which are the backs. And I draw a card for each one of those. And I read whatever's there. And that's how I've been using this deck. It's very fascinating. I've done it for 3 people at work. And each one of them said makes sense compared to some of the issues they're having in this life or some of the stuff they feel like they've overcome in this life. And I was like, that's so cool. So, and I was like, I haven't done a spread with this deck in a while, so I thought I would compare the two. So for the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle, I pulled the instructor card. Looks like this. And it came up with teacher. And I've had a past life reading. I've done a past life reading with this deck. And my Stretch Tarot that came up, I think I hadn't got this one yet. The Stretch Tarot where I was a teacher. So in the book, we go to instruction. Ignore that. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I. Instruction. And we find teacher. So teacher is the first one on here, which is an archetype. In a past life, you may have been a professor, tutor, school teacher, or instructor of a specialized skill, trade, or subject. And then the archetype, you're an educated, logical, and wise person who can disseminate knowledge in an organized and easy to understand way. So that's the jumping off point. So then we go to time frame and look at the backs. Not this one specifically, but we'll go to time frame for the back. So I pulled a card for that. And I have Middle Bronze Age. I don't know where the card was. But on here, we look for under time frame the Middle Bronze Age, and there it is. It says the Middle Bronze Age occurred approximately between 2000 and 1600 BC. During this time, alphabetic writing emerged, and the horse was domesticated. This age witnessed the rise of Babylonian and Assyrian civilizations and the fall of Sumer as a great power. That's pretty interesting. So then for the lesson, and I thought this was very interesting because I felt this in the first reading I did where I was a teacher. It's self-identity. I'm still in time frame, sorry. So the lesson, self-identity. So we find self-identity. And it says you may have felt challenged not to lose yourself when in close relationship with others. And that was a big one that came up in that past life reading I did with my stretch tarot. I was a school teacher, like maybe a headmistress of a school. And I felt that I just couldn't stay with this person, but I couldn't be done with them either. But my career came first. So I think that was very interesting. And it says, maybe you gave in too much to others in this attempts to mold or label you. It may have been necessary for your soul's growth that you become more independent and find an identity and life purpose for yourself. And I feel like I did very much that in that life. That's very cool. So location, we have northern, wait, did I skip death? I did. I skipped death. So here's death. And it was suicide. And I can tell you, I've had several past lives come up where it was suicide, which I think is very interesting because I'm totally against suicide in this life. Totally against it. Suicide. You may have taken your own life if you didn't commit suicide due to depression. It might have been to escape persecution, to martyr yourself, or for spiritual reasons. Interesting. That's interesting. Location was Northern Europe. You may have lived in an area currently part of Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, or Lithuania. If not on land, you may have lived off the coast or in a proximate area that is currently underwater. Interesting. Then we have trauma. Was there any trauma? And I was a witness or bystander. It says you may have experienced trauma due to something you were a bystander or witness to. What you witnessed may have been an execution, abuse, violence, or injury to a loved one, physical, psychological, or other. And that could be why I have a very big aversion to, if you see something, say something. I mean, that's my motto now in this life. If you see something, say something. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm very much a believer of, very much against people seeing abuse happen or seeing something injustice happen and not doing anything, not stepping in. It is our human right to, if you see something, say something. And most of us don't do it because we're too busy not wanting to get in people's business or whatever. I'm sorry, if I see somebody beating the crap out of their kid in the supermarket, I'm going to step in. I'm going to say something. It's just my nature, especially since I was also abused. So that hit a nerve. Moving on off my soapbox. So faith, philosophical, which I found very interesting. It says your faith may have been more philosophical in nature, or you may have been a follower of a particular philosopher such as Plato, Pythagoras, Aristotle, Confucius, Karl Marx, Rousseau, Voltaire, or Laozi, etc. Quite interesting. Love. It says slave or concubine, and I don't feel like I was. I feel like I was like a school marm type deal, but the slave or concubine would be a slave to my desires, to not a physical slave or concubine. Slave or concubine. You may have been a sexual slave or concubine in a past life. You may not have been permitted to leave the relationship and may have been expected to perform sexual acts. In some cultures, becoming a concubine was voluntary. Therefore, you see other cards to determine if this was traumatic for you. That's interesting because it's now telling you, hey, you can follow up too. I didn't realize that with this deck. And then identity says it's mother. And again, we're getting female. And I got mother quite a bit in that past life reading I did previously. But I never felt that she was actually a mother herself. She was just like the caretaker. Interesting. See, there's a lot of parallels. So the mother says, with a past life you are reading, you have played the role of mother. If reading a current relationship, you were the other party's mother or a significant maternal figure in a past life. So it says you played the role of mother or a significant maternal figure in a past life. So we're going to close the book on that. And that very much coincides with the one I read previously about the past life. So we're going to go to now this book for the Art History Tarot for Past Lives. And we're going to look over what it says on this spread. So for the spread, we have here the first question and the second question. The first question is core, where, or when. And the two crossing core is where or when. So one of these should be where and one of them should be when. If neither of them are where or when, then we would move whatever where or when is in there. That's what we would take. But let's see what it says. So it immediately says Korea and then brother. So we got and it's the Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands here. So I'm going to go with Korea. So that's the where. And it looks like two different time frames here. This was 1779 and this was 1302. Wow. So it says Korea. What did the other one say? I want to go back. It said Northern Europe. So, Northern Europe and Asia are close, I guess. Yeah, well, Asia is the whole continent, right? So, let's look this up. I'm curious now. Is Korea in Northern Europe? Korea is a peninsula region in East Asia. Is Korea part of Asia or Europe? Korea is a 70 today. The current is split. So it is more Asia than Europe. So there is a contrast there between these two. And then number 3, passing influence, what you still carry from this past life. So that's this one. And it's depression. And we know that I died of suicide according to the Oracle. And then this says depression. So it may have been more of a depression. And again, there's a woman with a baby in this photo. So it's a mom. And look, he's bringing her handcuffs, it looks like. So maybe she had given birth as a consequence of being someone's lover or unwilling lover. Interesting. So number 4, interior qualities. What are your interior qualities? And we got charity, the 6 of Pentacles. So to me, she's helping with the homeless. She's giving everything of herself that she can give. Number 5, how others saw you. So we're going to go up here, and it's the 19th century. So here we have a time frame for the 19th. We have the 19th century. So, and I forgot, let me see here. When was the 19th century? What years?
According to Wikipedia, the 19th century began on the 1st of January 1801 and ended on the 31st of December 1900.
So it was 1801 to 1900. And what did we say in the other? I didn't write it down. It was the early Bronze Age. Let's go there. So this was 3300 to 2000 BC. So that's way before this. So they seem to be, it almost like it's bringing out two different past lives, but it's highlighting the stuff that is being carried over every time. Interesting. So, and yeah, we got this 19th century. And I'm going to go back to brother here. And maybe that is literally just showing my brother in that life, that I had a brother. Quite interesting. Because I have two in this life. So the last one on here is 6. How this life is manifesting now. How is this life manifesting now? And we got Greece. We got a place that is in Northern Europe. I'm pretty sure. Is Greece in Northern Europe? It's in Southeast Europe, but it's still in Europe. So that's quite interesting. And it's the 3 of Pentacles. And again, we've got, like, looks like lovers here. Again, and she looks, okay, here she looks like she's ashamed. She just had a baby. She's about to be hauled away in handcuffs, it looks like. Like, she just got caught doing something. Here, she's super sad, and he's, like, kissing at her, and she's just like, I can't. So it is almost like there is a, something to do with love there that's just not connecting. So what I'm going to do real quick now is pull from this past life oracle real quick and just see what the cards say. Very interesting. They do seem to be two separate lives, but connected in a way. Very interesting. What do we got here? Wisdom. And persecution and inquisition. Interesting. And then one more for this from this deck we're going to pull. Baby, again, popped up. Very interesting. I feel like she did give birth, but I didn't feel that in the past life I did previously. And I'll post that link to that one below. And then we have the Carolyn Miss Archetypes card. I'm going to just see if I can drop a couple cards and see if they just show personality, like differences in personality for this person, for this either spread. Because I feel like it is now two separate lives. But they have a common ground. So that's why they're both coming up. We have teacher. Oh my God, you cannot make this up. And then child wounded. That is insane. My heart just flipped. Teacher, light attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Shadow attribute, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. And that could be here. She fell in love with a student, maybe had a baby with them. That's why she's going to jail. I mean, it was a long time ago. Still, I don't know if they cared then. Child wounded, light attribute, awakens compassion and desire to serve others. Wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Shadow attributes, blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds. Resists moving on through forgiveness. I almost feel like this one goes up here, while this one stays here, even though that one says teacher. Very interesting. So before my minutes cut off, I'm going to see if I can pull one more card from my Stretch Tarot. And we have any further overall information on either of these spreads would be great. Any information, any further info. Oh, one dropped. We got the 8 of Pentacles skill. Skill and teacher comes up quite a bit for me. And any past life spread I do. It's weird. Because I maintain skills throughout lifetimes, I guess. Any other information? So we got perception. And I've actually pulled this Queen of Swords before and came up with suicide in a past life reading. So that's very interesting that it comes back to the suicide, depression, having the skill, but maybe not being able to use it or not knowing how to use it. Quite interesting. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. If you guys have any thoughts on comparing these two decks together, let me know. If you've done it too, let me know and see what you came up with. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.